Hello, and thank you for joining this hands-on demo for EMC's Atmos Online Storage Services. This is Frank Murphy from EMC, and coming up, you'll see firsthand how you can use these exciting new services to solve today's business problems in a whole new way. So let's get started. Let's face it, 2009 was a brutal year for many reasons, and this is definitely not an easy time for anyone in the IT industry. And like most of us, you'll probably find yourself faced with problems from every direction. They could be issues like, how can you grow and scale out your IT infrastructure on demand? Or, how can you extend your Tier 1 NAS investment and archive old static content? Or it could be how you can back up to the cloud to protect your data off-site. Or it could be how you can cost-effectively archive legacy applications while still maintaining the ability to query them as you need. And lastly, you may be faced with just the sheer explosion of unstructured content from collaboration systems. It could be medical images, social media content, any number of sources of explosive unstructured content out there. In short, there are a variety of difficult problems out there that really require innovative solutions from a trusted solution provider. And for these problems, we introduce the solutions from Atmos Online, your external content cloud. And up next, let's walk through some use cases. First, if you have Atmos deployed already inside your own data center, in your own private cloud, you can leverage our federation technology to flex out capacity on demand. Next, you can extend your Tier 1 NAS on Celera by archiving lesser used files to the cloud by policy using Celera Fast technology. Also, you can leverage trusted on-premises applications to back up your files and emails to the cloud and complete your protection strategy. For this use case, you can also leverage one of our partners, such as Commvault Simpana. Next, you can archive lesser used data from your enterprise application, such as Oracle eBusiness, and send them to the cloud to improve application performance. And this is enabled through our partnership with Informatica. And lastly, here are two more partner-driven examples. You can offload SharePoint content to improve performance and productivity from an integration with our partner BlueThread. And finally, you can enable efficient content production workflows, leveraging the cloud as a staging point from our integration with our partner Signient. And so, as you can see, there are many and different use cases, all enabled from the same Atmos infrastructure. And now, let's go one layer deeper into Atmos to understand its key features. Built from the ground up as an unstructured content cloud, Atmos is consumed in two ways. First, as Atmos the product, deployed on your premises. Its 5 key capabilities are a multi-petabyte scale-out object store, often deployed across many geographies, and leveraging integrated access methods for web services or for legacy access methods such as CIFS or NFS. Nothing's proprietary. And all of this content is managed from a single pane of glass, where the object's metadata is the key to driving policy-based management. And lastly, Atmos delivers a secure multi-tenancy model for resource isolation, which makes this really a distributed multi-petabyte object store that's very, very efficient to manage and maintain at this scale. And with today's announcement, we introduce the general availability of Atmos the storage service. And with this service, there's nothing to own or maintain, and it's available on demand over the web. It will deliver the pay-as-you-go storage resources that you might need, all of which can leverage our federation technology, which is the ability to pass objects between Atmos the product that may be in your data center and Atmos the service, which runs on our on-demand infrastructure. And so, to round out this picture, last fall we announced a beta preview for our compute service. This is also available on demand over the web in a pay-as-you-go model, and it delivers instant and unlimited access to virtual servers. They could be ours that you provision from our templates, or they could be yours that you upload onto the platform. So the key here is all of these features. It's one infrastructure, many different uses. And now let me walk you through a real-life use case where Atmos features can help solve a very common business problem. And that problem can be the growth of unnecessary or static content on a primary storage tier that doesn't need to be there. And to solve this problem, EMC introduced FAST, or fully automated storage tiering, that automates the movement and placement of data across storage tiers, either inside of a cabinet or outside externally to other storage systems such as Atmos on premises, or even externally out to the cloud for Atmos Online. So here I'm going to set up a policy. I'll call it multi-tier 01. I want some content to go to Atmos, some to stay more nearline, and I'm going to define my business rules here. So let's say the really old 2-year-old static content, I'm going to send that out to Atmos Online. And remember, you've got to know your data. So you have several different options here of destinations where you want those files to go. And here I'm going to set up another rule for my more recent content. Let's say 6 months. I want to keep that more nearline, and I'll configure that here. I want to keep that a little bit closer to recall. So now that we've set that up, there are lots of other knobs and dials that you can set in FMA of thresholds and intervals and schedules and so forth. But we've set that up, kicked off a schedule, and now let's go see where the data is going to land. So now we're over here in the Atmos Online Storage UI. And here, one of the key concepts is that of tenancy and tokens. So as the admin, I can see groups of other tenants underneath me. I can see what they're consuming for disk and for bandwidth. I can start to look at some archiving work that Tim's going to be doing. Compare his consumption against that of others in the group, drill down, compare them one to the other. I can use this for chargeback if I wanted to. I can look at some pretty granular metrics here, a lot of different capabilities, a lot of visualization of what he's currently using at a glance. And how do we do this? So over here in the tokens and groups, that's where I could control who has access to what. So here's Tim, he's mixed in with others in the group. I can assign some rights to him, other sort of administrative rights. I can also see his ID and his keys that we need to pass over to FMA to give it the credentials to send those files via REST over to the online storage service. So now Tim's rocking. FMA sees the storage that he has configured. He ran his jobs over there. And now he's archiving. So I can pick him off the list of other folks in the group. I can look at the disk he's consuming. I got started there a particular day. Things are coming into the system. I can dig down here and look at bandwidth. And you'll notice in both places you can see this references to policies, 200, 400, 600. These map to replication methods that we apply to protect the data on the service, sort of like a calling plan. You can read more about that on the portal. So let's review. The storage that Tim used was available on demand. It was secure, only he had access to it. There was information about utilization. I could see what he was using. I could go back and see what he's used in the past, historically. And everything was protected via various policy levels. And remember, on top of that storage service is the compute beta offering. Here's an example. So here I can see the pair of VMs I have, one I provisioned, another that I imported. I can go in and look at historical usage. I can view them by their size, so that filter that by the date, so I know what I've been consuming. And I can go over here to management, and I can see my virtual data center, stop and start, provision, startup, shutdown, that sort of thing. So let's zoom out for the big picture here. We looked at several different use cases, all supported from the same infrastructure. They can be applied in many different industries and segments. If you go online, you can read more about our ISV and developer community, as well as understanding our service providers and how they're leveraging our technologies in their own businesses. And again, many other use cases and opportunities out there. But I encourage you to please visit us online at www.atmosonline.com, and thank you for your time. Oh, and by the way, remember my friend here, Mr. 2009? If you're like him, you're probably also trying to figure out how to leverage cloud services in your enterprise and add value to your business, and maybe make your infrastructure less like this and more like this, a utility. And we can help with that. And you might just end up with one of these. Or maybe something like this is more your speed. If it is, and you're a developer, we encourage you to check out our Monster Mashup contest we just launched, where we'll be awarding a $25,000 cash prize this year at EMC World in May in Boston for the most innovative technology using our Atmos API or any of the other APIs from EMC. Thanks for listening.